Okay, here we go. We got a bunch more of those things to go through. And this section, this area is bad because it's so grown in. Just after noon. There's a spot here where there's a really bad spot here where there's been a bit of a slide, but here you can see again some of the deterioration of the grade here. Again, you can see the Canadian Pacific line just below us. Okay, so yeah, this is another one of these slide sections where you can see that we've lost a bit of grade. Hopefully this return trip will go a little faster. When you're kind of coming the other direction, it's very slow because you're stopping and you're taking pictures, and I put all the data into my GPS, so that takes time as well. Not that I can see it. I am getting a little bit old here, and sometimes it's hard to see the things a little up close, and I need cheater glasses here. There was a couple points where I was walking this way and I was like, I feel like Danny Glover's character in the Lethal Weapon movies, if you've ever seen them. Dating myself here, going back to the 80s. Here you can see indentations from the ties, and you're going to see lots of these where he says he's a little too old for some of this stuff. I won't put the full quote in there. It is a family-friendly channel, but man, I may have said it a few times this morning. You can feel those indentations from the ties. Luna's gonna be tuckered out too. She did a lot of running today. So here you can see probably another culvert. She's not a spring chicken either. We've been through part of this area before, 5 years ago, back in 2019. And I was watching the video, and so Luna was a year old, and she's like running like crazy. And she did a bit of that this morning, but she's gonna be 6 now. And on the 4th of May, we don't know exactly when her birthday was. My boys, when we got her, picked the 4th of May because at the time, you know, being young boys and into Star Wars, they picked May the 4th. If you're a Star Wars person, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we are in yet another cutting. It was kind of like driving me crazy this morning, you know, putting all of these cuttings into the GPS. Is it this here? We're coming up, there's another slide spot coming up. You can see the nature of the grade here. Again, you can see stuff has come down the side of the ridge here. So one of the reasons why this railway line got built where it did is because, again, the Canadian Pacific line was built west out of Thunder Bay back in the 1870s. We talked about this. Then the Canadian Northern line was built, and so being built between 1905 and 1908, the Grand Trunk Pacific line, the Lake Superior division here, was the last one to be built. And the problem is that there's not very many routes of egress out of the area. The geography around here is very hilly. There's a lot of rock, and so really your only recourse are the river valleys. So they basically had to follow the Kaministiqua, which is a major river in the area. So you basically have the Canadian Pacific on the east side, and you have the Canadian Northern on the west side. So where are you going to go? And so they had to essentially pick a side. Railway lines don't like to cross each other because that creates a lot of issues and a lot of problems. So this is one of these slide areas here. So we've kind of lost the grade here. The grade should be right here. And so they basically stayed to the north of the Canadian Pacific line, and stayed to the north of Canadian Pacific line. And then essentially that kind of brought them through this area here. And so this is why we're up on the side of this ridge here. And I'm sure it created a lot of engineering headaches for them. And you're going to see lots of cuttings and lots of embankments as a result of that, because it's a lot easier when you're close to the level of the river, as opposed to being way up here on the side of this ridge. I think this is where we get back onto the grade. So you can see this whole section here has been washed out. Again, probably a lot of unstable soils. And again, going back to that story I was telling you about, you know, having to build the railway through this area. You've got this massive ridge. And if I show you a map here, you'll basically see this ridge to the north of us. That's pretty high. I think some of the peaks are like 1,600 feet above sea level. So there's no way that they're going through those. And again, you have to kind of skirt the side of this ridge here. So again, now you can see the grade kind of resumes. You have the ditches on each side. You can see how massively grown in it is. You're going to see a little bit better farther up ahead. But for many years, this was used as a road. And I don't know how far they went. But basically, in some spots you can see the indentations from the ties. There is one spot where you can actually make out what appear to be ties themselves. This can be a long series of episodes here, because normally we bike, and we can't obviously bike this. And it was a long walk. All right, we did like 4 miles. Normally we bike 4 miles. So here we can see indentations. Again, up ahead, there's a spot where you can see some ties. You can see a little slide section here. So here's another culvert. Again, probably a lot of these places were like wooden box culverts that probably deteriorated at a time. You'll see a bunch of these. I don't know if you can see the trees. Basically, there's the no trespassing signs. So there's private property on either sides of the right of way here. And I was kind of chuckling as I was walking, because I was thinking, it's kind of crazy in through here, and I'm not sure who would come through here and want to go off the sides of the grade, because it's not fun walking through here. Here you can see, again, indentations from where the ties were. I can see some through here. I don't know why you can see it on the camera. Yeah, I don't know who wants to come through here, except people like me. But as I said, I'm starting to get, this is, I was okay with this when I was a little bit younger, but this is not, easy when you're middle-aged. I'm gonna be sore tomorrow. Me and Luna. Unfortunately, I gotta go to work tomorrow. Just trying to look ahead here. I'm gonna try not to talk when I don't have to, because otherwise we're gonna have 16 parts of videos here. Can't move fast enough on my feet. Hopefully this is turning out okay. I can't really see what I'm pointed at with this head camera. So I don't, when I bike, I have the attachment point for the camera on my helmet, but obviously I'm not biking, so I have a head strap on, and I'm always a little bit paranoid about it because I don't know if it's pointed in your helmet. You're kind of always kind of guaranteed that it's kind of, if you set it up right, it's kind of pointed in the right direction. This head strap, it's a little bit more variability involved. Again, you can see the slope on the western side here. I thought I was supposed to stop talking. Can't help myself. So we're coming up to yet another cutting here. There's like a bazillion of them. Cuttings and embankments. And all the embankments have been taken out. So you have to go down them and then come up the other side. So here you can make out more indentations here from the ties. It rained yesterday, so the ground is a little bit wet. Again, it is April, so I don't know how thawed out the ground is. So not sure if the water is draining very well. It's easier for the dog. She just zips under everything. Okay, this is where it's going to get fun. Is there a way to get around here without having to walk through that? Good thing I brought my rubber boots here. You can see the height of the cutting here, and there's a bunch like this. Like, it gives you an idea of how much earth they moved. Like, this is insane. Like, the top of that's got to be 25 feet or more, 30 feet. Like, they had to cut down 30 feet. And again, that's all like grade mitigation, right? You know, they're trying to reduce the incline, so they have to you know, cut into the side of this hill. Really hope the video's turning out here. I gotta watch too, because sometimes you gotta lift your feet over those branches and you trip. I don't need to do a face plant into the water. Okay, I think we're coming out on the other side of this cutting, maybe. We need to stop and check the battery. Let's see, this is where it gets tricky. The wood is all wet. How we doing here? I think we're coming up to another one of these washed out embankments. Not like I can see anything on the GPS here. I think so. Maybe not. All right, so we are coming up to another one of these washed out areas. So let's pause here for a second. Let me check the camera, make sure it's recording okay, and then we'll work our way across the other side.